Hello, everyone. This is Jay Dobbins, your host of the Marvel DC Universe Fan Club. We are now at episode 43, and I'll be discussing three topics. One, Robert Downey Jr. wants to hang up his Iron Man armor before it's embarrassing. Two, Spider Man Homecoming. Everything you need to know before it hits movie theaters. And third topic will be Fox reveals six more Marvel films are in the works. So I'm always going to start with the first topic that I mentioned. So, which is Robert Downey Jr. wants to hang up his Iron Man armor before it's embarrassing. Three Golden Globe wins and two Oscar nominations aside, Robert Downey Jr., of course, is known by most of the as the superhero with a red suit of armor, Iron Man. But Downey is now wondering if it's time to call it a day and move on. Everyone says to me it's like a glove that fits so well, Downey told News Corp, Australian network this month, of course. He said, and I quote, I have to start over every time, but I am starting over with a pretty solid base. I just never want to blow it for the last 6 or 7 Marvel movies I have done by dropping the ball because I decided to go do it one more time. I just want to hang up my jersey before it's embarrassing. End quote. Not counting Tony Stark's appearance in the number of films within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the 3 Iron Man films alone have grossed north of $2.4 billion. That success that may be hard to walk away from for most actors, of course, but Downey sees it differently. Downey said, and I quote, it's this sin. Oh, sorry. Kind of zoned. I was thinking about something for a moment. Okay, but yeah, he said, and I quote, it's this cyclical thing, of course. Downey said, and he said, and I quote again, and he said, and I quote, I could have said when the first Avengers came out, it's never going to get any better than that. Everybody stop. But to me, it's always about people and opportunities like the Avengers, director Anthony and Joe Russo, who I adore, of course, end quote. Despite being sure of his future within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Downey does appear in Spider-Man Homecoming, mostly because mostly because that's what the film's director, John Watts, pulled off in his low-budget thriller Cop Car, starring Kevin Bacon. That creative respect carried over when he finally sat down to read what was planned for Tony Stark in Homecoming. And Robert Downey Jr. said, and I quote, I felt like we were literally back in the writer's room on the first Iron Man film, of course, Downey said. And another quote he made, so there was a real sense of a homecoming towards this, not experimental because there is so much more data now, and the process is so much more streamlined. But I didn't feel like I was being asked to just fit in somewhere, and that they wanted us to bring our own little thing. End quote. So, Spider-Man: Homecoming hits theaters this Friday on July 7th, but there are special screenings on the 6th. So that concludes this topic. We're now going to start with another topic, which is Spider-Man: Homecoming. Everything you need to know before the movie hits. So, Spider-Man: Homecoming had its Hollywood premiere Wednesday, offering a glimpse into what could be one of the biggest blockbusters of the year. However, this will be the third time Sony has attempted to breathe new life into the web-slinging franchise, and some filmgoers may feel they've seen enough of the comic book hero. The latest Spider-Man film prompts some important questions. What makes this version special? Has Spider-Man run its course? Of course, the latest film opens July 7th after a strong showing by Wonder Woman and another Guardians of the Galaxy. The reviews are mostly positive. Critics have already seen Sony's new take on the Spider-Man franchise and have given their stamp of approval. Having been reviewed by 76 critics, Spider-Man: Homecoming currently holds a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes tomatometer. Yeah, tomatometer. Oh gosh. So this is a major step from Andrew Garfield's turn at Spider-Man with The Amazing Spider-Man at 72%, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 at 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. Mark Daniel of the Toronto Sun noted Thursday that it's not, and he said, and I quote, "It's not only the best Spider-Man movie, it's one of the best films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe." This is it's expected to be another hit for Marvel and Sony. So to the franchise, to do the franchise justice, Sony decided to share Spider-Man with Disney's Marvel Studios. Although Sony has ranked in solid box office numbers with past Spider-Man films, Marvel appears to have nailed the superhero genre under Disney's wings to a T. Previous Spider-Man flicks have hovered around the 700, 800 million mark worldwide under Sony. However, Disney's Marvel Studios hit the 1 billion mark worldwide multiple times with films like The Avengers, Captain America: Civil War, and, of course, Iron Man 3. This time around, Spider-Man: Homecoming could see bigger box office returns with its joint effort with Sony. Spider-Man: Homecoming is expected to pick up the summer's slow box office. Deadline reported that the newest Spidey flick is projected to make 90 to 100 million during its opening weekend, making it the biggest debut of any film within Spider-Man franchise. And of course, Tom Holland as Spider-Man is while Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is still loved by fans, Tobey Maguire and his Peter Parker successor Garfield lack one thing: a youthful teenage vibe. Because both actors were full-fledged adults in their turn at the web-slinging superhero, of course. Maguire was 27 when Spider-Man first hit theaters in 2002, while Garfield was 29 when The Amazing Spider-Man debuted 10 years later in 2012. The youthful looking Holland, while technically 21 years old, can still pass from a teenager. Longtime critic Monhola Durgis of the New York Times noted that Holland's boyish appearance compared to previous actors in the role as a positive, Mr. Holland looks and sounds more like a teen than the actors who previously suited up for this series. Durgis wrote. Holland, a London native, has credits that include starring roles in Billy Elliot the musical, and of course, the critically acclaimed 2012 film The Impossible. He has made his debut as Spider-Man in Captain America: Civil War last year, stealing Captain America's shield for that matter. And one more thing, of course, it's a coming-of-age story. Peter Parker is, of course, a teenager, and the reboot makes sure viewers know it. Director John Watts has taken a different approach from predecessors, making Spider-Man: Homecoming more of a John Hughes-esque superhero movie. While the film has plenty of action, there is also an emphasis on personal relationships. Many may find the departure from previous films a bit more refreshing, of course. Time magazine critic Stephanie Zacharek wrote on last Friday, and she said, and I quote, "It's a relief to see a superhero engage in deeply human activities like getting ready for a date." And just a reminder, Spider-Man: Homecoming hits theaters this Friday, July 7th, and there's a special screening on July 6th. So that concludes this topic. One more topic. Fox reveals 6 more films that are in the works. 6 more Marvel films that are in the works, of course. So, we've been short of big superhero announcements, of course, or movie announcements, rather, since the major DC Entertainment Universe and Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 3 unveiling of a few years back, but 20th Century Fox might have some big revelations in the pipeline. The studio has set 6 new release dates for Marvel films between 2019 and 2021. June 7th, 2019, November 22nd, 2019, March 13th, 2020, June 26th, 2020, October 2nd, 2020, and March 5th, 2021, have reportedly been targeted by Fox. The studio, which controls the film rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four, has 3 films in the works for release in 2018. Those are The New Mutants, April 13th, Deadpool 2, June 1st, and X-Men Dark Phoenix, November 2nd. As to what those films will be, Fox has had the X-Men spinoff, X-Force, in development for some years, and Channing Tatum is still supposedly attached to star in a Gambit movie. Fox will also have to put another Fantastic Four movie into development to retain those rights, having already lost Daredevil, which returned to Disney and allowed the Netflix TV show to be made. Rumor has it that a kid-friendly take on Marvel's original superhero team is being planned. The studio is set to reveal any more details about upcoming releases. So, I think they should keep rights to Fantastic Four and X-Men, of course. That's just my opinion. But that concludes this topic in this episode. Feel free to visit us and like us on Facebook. We are available on iTunes and the Google Play Music app. and happy 4th of July.